friends, welcome to another episode of the Cozy Cottage Crochet podcast. My name is Hannah and this is a podcast all about crochet. A little bit of knitting, sometimes sewing, and generally living the yarniest life possible in St. Petersburg, Florida, where I live. Happy August, happy first week of school. I know it's not first week of school for everybody, just down south we start real early. I know up north some of y'all don't even start till after Labor Day, but like the first week of school was this week. It is Thursday morning right now. You're going to see this on Saturday. It feels very weird to me to be recording on a Thursday morning. This is when I used to record all of my podcast episodes. I would record it during Nova's nap time on Thursdays, and then I would like edit it throughout Thursday and Friday morning. I would upload it and then it'd be ready to go for Saturday. But I haven't been able to do that in so long because Nova's always around and she's crazy. But she's in school. Oh my gosh, what a revelation it has been this whole week. So the baby is sleeping. You can't really see him, but he is asleep and hopefully he'll stay asleep because we have lots to talk about. Before we talk about what I have been working on, I have some prize winners to announce. Actually, before that, if you are looking for me anywhere on the interweb, you can find me as the Cozy Cottage Crochet on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. I'm also the Cozy Cottage on Facebook, and I am the Cozy Cottage on Ravelry. And we do have a Ravelry group link for this podcast. And if you have anything to say about the podcast, please email me at thecozycottagecrochet@gmail.com. Now, speaking of Ravelry, I have prize winners to announce for the Lisa Frank Make-Along, which ended on July 31st. So many people participated. It was super, super fun. I actually completed a project for my own Make-Along. Who am I? There will be a new Make-Along coming soon. Maybe next episode if I can get my act together. I don't know if I can. I'm kind of slow at life lately. But I have some prize winners to announce for the Lisa Frank Mouse. So what I have is I have 4 prizes total, 2 for the Ravelry/Instagram group and 2 for my patrons because they have their own set of prizes. So I'm going to announce the regular prizes first. This was the Ravelry prize. And actually, I drew this person twice in a row. So the post that officially won was post number 38, which is Lori, who is Lori Lulu. Hi, Lori. I think that you're going to like this color because you win the grand prize. But the very next, I use a random number generator to do all of these prizes, and it picked another post by Lori. So you've won twice. You can only get one prize, but you won twice in a row. So, the more you chat, the higher your chances are of getting picked. So what you have won is the grand prize of things from Twice Sheared Sheep. I was going to say this all came out of the advent calendar from last year, but actually what came out of the advent calendar I sent to someone and then they paid me for that, and then I purchased the exact same type of thing. So it's not the same thing that came out of the advent calendar because it's a different bag, but it's the same type of bag in tin. So you have won a sheepy Twice Sheared Sheep project bag. It has a zipper. It has a pocket on the inside. I'm not going to take it out of the plastic. You have also won a very, very cute sheepy stitch marker and a dragon tin to keep your notions in. And then this is from the advent calendar. I also put in this color of yarn because I knew you would like it. This is Twice Sheared Sheep Everyday Merino, 100% superwash merino wool. It is worsted weight yarn and you get 185 yards. It's so plump. I knit a hat out of this in green and it was lovely to work with. So that is prize number 1. Congratulations, Lori. Prize number 2 is Mercedes de Avila, who has been a long, long time viewer of this podcast. So I was so happy to see your name pop up. And what you have won is the second ball of this Saki silk yarn. I knit a pair of socks out of this yarn and I adore them. They are possibly the best socks I've ever made. They're so comfortable. In fact, if anyone has sock yarn with like merino nylon 20% silk and you don't want it, please send it to me because these are my favorite socks I have ever knit out of this yarn. In fact, I think I have enough to knit another pair of shorty socks out of the other ball of this, and I may knit another pair. Like, they're the only socks I want to wear. They're so fabulous. So you have won a ball of this same yarn. I want to share it with you. And you have also got some left and right. These are to keep track of increases or decreases. Some stitch markers and these little tiny cat circular stitch markers. Now these are knitting stitch markers in that they're circular, but they actually could be used as progress keepers for crochet because they have a little opening. So you could hook them around some yarn. So this is prize number 2. Email me, give me your address, and I will get that on the way to you. Prize number 1 for the patron only giveaway. We had that going on in our Slack channel where my patrons were updating their projects, and I used random for 1, and then I just decided that the grand prize needed to go to one person in particular. Her name is Victoria. Hi, Victoria, because you finished 8 projects for this make along. That is so many, and they were these amazing crocheted shawls. They were fabulous. So you have won the grand prize, Victoria, for finishing 8 things. So incredible. And what you have won is a almost brand new, oops, let me grab a piece, Stanwood wooden yarn swift. It is in the color, oh, it doesn't say, it just says Stanwood. I don't remember what the color is. Birch or something maybe. So it's solid wood. I used this maybe 3 or 4 times. It was sent to me for review, and it's gorgeous. It's lovely. I really enjoy working with it, but I have another yarn swift and I really don't need 2. And so I wanted to share this. It's a gorgeous yarn swift. So I will happily send this to you. So congratulations, Victoria, on completing a billion projects during the span of one make along. And the other prize was a random number generator, and it was Ronnie. Hi, Ronnie. Hopefully I get to see you at Yarn Lounge. I'm not sure if I can make it still. I still don't know, and it's next week. So I just don't have a clue. But what I'm going to send you is a skein of this Etrofil hand knitting yarn. It is 90% polyamide, 10% cashmere. It's super, super soft. I had a couple skeins of these, and I knit 2 hats out of these as gifts, and they're so soft and plump. Like, this yarn is super soft. A matching palm to go with it, as well as a handmade tag if you so choose to make a hat. You don't have to, of course, and some snowflake stitch markers. So all of that will go to you. If I can get to Yarn Lounge, I will give this to you in person. If I can't, I'll have to mail it down to Miami, but oh well, it's just the way life works. So congratulations to the winners, Lori, Mercedes, Victoria, and Ronnie. And thank you to everyone who participated in this make-along. It was just really lovely to be able to do something like that after so long. I used to run make-alongs all the time and love them, and I just haven't been able to do that like I used to. And it was fabulous. It was really fabulous. So thank you for participating. We will have a new make-along coming soon. Details TBD. What are y'all drinking today? I am drinking bone broth. I am just trying to get a few more calories in the morning without eating junk constantly. And I mean, food is food, right? But I cannot survive on chips all morning. And that's lately what I've been doing. There's just been a lot going on. So I made some bone broth, which I've done before. You basically just usually what I do is I make chicken broth. So I'll save all the chicken bones and stuff of anything that we eat, and I'll just keep them in the freezer until I have enough to make a crock pot full. But the grocery store, my grocery store has beef bones in the freezer section that you can buy, and then I just put them in the crock pot and literally simmer it for 48 hours and add a bunch of spices and salt. And it's pretty tasty. It also makes how much did I get out of this batch? 12 or 16 cups of bone broth for $6. That's how much the bones cost me. So that's what I'm drinking. I have some water as a backup when I run out of that. Do we have any finished objects? We do. It's living in my project bag that I made. This is yarn from the Hooks and Needles subscription box, and I showed this last time. It was the project for but a project for the Summer Romance Mail, hosted by Clarisabeth of CrochetCakes and Claudia of Crochet Luna. And I was going to say I'm missing a yarn ball. As last time y'all saw me, I had made some flower crochet dishcloths, and I wasn't sure if I was going to like them. I've used them. I love them. I will link this pattern directly down below. It's not a pattern that's on Ravelry. And I went into my cotton stash and made some more. So this is all sugar and cream yarn, except for maybe this might have been peaches and cream. So this has been in my yarn stash for a long time. This pink one did not have a yarn label. It was just a ball. So I think it was peaches and cream. This is the colorway Hot Pink in Lily Sugar and Cream. It's 100% worsted weight cotton. This is the colorway Red. And then there was one more, which is Moon Dance. So these are the colors that I made, and I'm going to show you 3 dishcloths, but I actually made 6 of these and gave 3 of them to my mom. So I only have 3 to show you, but I did make 6. So in the pink colorways, I made 2 each of these and 2 each of these. I just love them. Oh, they're so cute. I'm like obsessed with making these flowers. And then I made 2 each of these. I was going to make 2 more with a blue in the middle and red around the outside, but I decided I had enough. So this is like 6 crochet flowers that I've made for myself plus 3 for my mom. So that's enough, don't you think? My gosh, you guys, this chair is gonna drive me crazy. It is creaking. Hold please. Better. I switched it out for the chair over there. It's literally just chairs around my kitchen table, but one of them creaks and I can't stand it. So yes, these are my 3 finished flowers. So technically I had 6 finished objects this time, you guys. I just want to put that out there in the world. When was the last time that happened? Never. Of course, these are really small, so do they count individually? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. So I really, really enjoyed making these, and it's a coaster pattern, but like I said, I love using them as a dishcloth because they're really small, and I found especially cleaning cups and things, these go right inside. So I love them. I think I have done enough crochet dishcloths for a while. So I will be putting that cotton back in my stash, the leftovers, and moving on to other things. I think 6, 9, plus the other 3 that weren't flowers. So I think I've made 12 dishcloths lately. I've had enough of dishcloths, but it was very, very fun. And I highly enjoyed it, and the instant gratification of just busting something out in like half an hour cannot be beat. So where shall we start? I really felt like I had not done a lot because it's been very busy. I've been a little bit all over the place. My arm has been bothering me. I'll talk about that later. But I actually did touch a fair amount of projects. There's just not a ton of progress on each one, but I'm still gonna show them to you. If I put 1 stitch on something, I'm gonna show it to you. I don't think I touched my Crochet Memories blanket at all. I'm actually not sure if that's true. I may have added 1 square, but I can't remember, so I left it over there. But the first thing I will show you, since we were already talking about hooks and needles with the project bag in their yarn, is I did make a little bit of progress on the makeup bag. So this project that I am making, you saw, I think I had 2 squares done last time of the boho makeup pouch, and this is what it is going to look like eventually when it is done. So cute. And what I'm using is the yarn that came out of the knitting box a while ago, and it is 100% pure new wool called Harvest Moon. It is a worsted weight yarn, and I have 200 grams of this yarn, and it's 65 yards per 50 grams. So 130 yards per 100 grams. That's not a worsted, is it? It's more like an Aran. So it's very plump, very thick, and it has little bits of vegetable matter in it. And the lanolin, like for real, makes my hands feel so nice when I'm working with it because this yarn is definitely very sheepy. I would not put it next to my skin, but every yarn has a purpose, and this is gonna wear and hold up super well for a makeup bag. So this is what it looks like in the cake. I caked all of it up, even though I'm probably not gonna need all of it. And I have gone through, this is what's left of the first ball. So I have 3 cakes plus this left. So probably 160 to 70 grams of yarn is what I have left. So this is 1 whole panel done. And I would have more of this done probably, except my arm has been bothering me. And so crochet has not really been very kind to my arm lately. So last time I had only 2 squares done. I finished these 3 squares, and then I've done this panel, which is the side of the makeup bag. So once, basically, I'm gonna make another panel identical to this and then a bottom that's gonna go up. So once all the pieces are seamed together, it's gonna kind of look like that. And it's gonna have a zipper in the middle. This is like 1/3 of a makeup bag. And I am probably going to line it as well. And as I talked about last time, I'm going to machine sew the zipper to the lining, and I'm going to hand sew the zipper and lining to the bag so that I don't have a problem like I did last time. So yeah, I really like it. I like the texture, it's super cute. I like the squares. I joined them as you go. The pattern has you make them individually and then seam them together, but I just did a slip stitch join as you go. I don't think you can really tell. I think it looks totally fine. And I have woven in all of my ends. This end is only still there for seaming later. So yeah, super fun. That is in progress. Hopefully I'll have at least another panel done by the next time I see you, pending my elbow being not such a pain, literally. And I have picked, finally, last time I showed you the yarn in the new box they sent me, and I was like, oh, I could make the bag that's in the pattern booklet, but I really want to make something wearable because I feel like it's a crime to have that yarn not be wearable because it's just too beautiful. It's too soft. This is the yarn I'm talking about. It is Merino Essence 100% unshrinkable merino extra fine wool. And this is 95 yards for 50 grams, so this is a worsted weight. And it's so soft. As scratchy as that yarn is as soft as this yarn is. Like, I could just like put this on my eyeballs. It's so soft. So I've been scrolling Ravelry, like, to relax, which I used to do. I used to do that all the time, just like go through and like look at patterns and get inspired. And I really haven't done that in a very long time, but there's features on Ravelry where you can narrow it down. So I narrowed it down to a certain amount of yardage, which is what I had. I think I picked like 150 to 300 yards. And you can narrow it down for crochet and knitting. I had so many parameters. I even narrowed it down even further to only patterns that used merino, which I didn't really need to do. But I didn't really want like pot holders and stuff because that's not what I want to make. And typically you're not going to make a pot holder out of merino. So I narrowed it way down. I still had 16 pages of patterns to look through. And there's just so many that I want to see if I can show you a couple. For example, this. It's called the Scorpio Mittens. So cute. This hat I really liked. It's called the Diamond Beanie. These are all, if you go to my Ravelry personal page, I'm the Cozy Cottage on Ravelry, not the Cozy Cottage Crochet because it's too many characters, just the Cozy Cottage. You can actually look at other people's favorites, and these patterns are all in there, and you can click on them if you want to look at them and investigate them more. This I also thought was really cool. These are all crochet. This is a hibernation cowl. Cute. And then this one, I don't even know if I can get this pattern anywhere because it was published in a sheep cheese. You know, that word no one can pronounce if you're in America. It was published in like a sheep cheese magazine at some point, but look at that. Oh, I want to make that. Does anyone know where I can get this pattern? Do you have this pattern? Have you made it? I'm obsessed. So there was all kinds of really cute stuff, but then I found the one that it's going to be. I found it last night actually, and I'm going to click on this. This is a pattern by Abby Made, who, if you do any Tunisian crochet, she made the tessellated tee, the tessellated cardigan, like has been going around and around and around. Like those are pretty popular patterns in Tunisian crochet. She made this hat called the Whirligig hat. And when I saw it, I was like, yep, that's what it's gonna be. Look at how cool that is. It's like a spiral knit. I have no idea how you even do that. It's first of all Tunisian crochet. And second of all, it's knit in a spiral with 2 colors. That is apparently the beginning of the hat, which I am fascinated by. So, sorry about the glare. The light behind this camera is like blowing everything out. But I'm gonna make this hat. It's not gonna look exactly like that because I have different colors, obviously. But I have enough to make this spiral hat. Will I ever wear such a hat? I don't know, but I'm definitely gonna make it. So that's a project that will be on the go fairly soon because I'm kind of obsessed. Like, that's awesome. So, you know, scroll Ravelry. It's very, very inspirational. So yes, Hooks and Needles box. As you know, if you've been around here, I'm really enjoying it. If you would like your own Hooks and Needles box, you can use the link directly down below in the description. I have a code. Use the code and you will get 20% off. Save you some money, y'all. Okay. Next, this sock has barely gotten any work. My other pair of socks has gotten no work at all. This sock only had a little bit of work because I was in a meeting last night that was okay for me to knit. And so I did just knit on this. The yarn is West Yorkshire Spinners yarn, colorway Vintage Tinsel. It is a self-striping sparkly yarn that was a gift from my lovely friend Amanda. This is how much I have left. Last time I had just started the heel. I was maybe 3 or 4 rows into the heel. So last night I finished the heel, and this blue, after this blue is what I have done. So I finished the heel and started on the foot. It's not much, but a heel does take me like an hour usually to make. This is the Fish Lips Kiss heel. So it is so sparkly, you guys. I can't wait till these are done. I mean, I guess I can. I haven't been working on them that much. But I kind of stocked myself out a couple weeks ago with finishing all of those socks. So this is just my project that goes in my bag wherever I go. And if I have a few moments to knit, I will knit on it. I'm not going to talk at length about socks today because I have a million times. But when I have more progress to show, I will. And of course, there is another pair of socks on the go, but only the cuff has been done on those. The other knitting project is my V-neck Boxy by Joji Locatelli, and I have made a little bit of progress. I finished the back to where you would join under the arms, and I've picked up the stitches on the right shoulder, and I'm working down. It's so delightful. It takes a long time because there's a lot of stitches to do. It will probably take, way longer once I join them under the arms, but I just love working on it. Like, I'm so happy anytime I pick this up. But I haven't picked it up like just to, it's not mindless because I have to pay attention to what I'm doing right now because there's increasing and short rows and things like that. So this is fiber optic yarn in the cashmere base, which is 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, and it is 420 yards. The colorway is Peacocks because obviously. I got this yarn at Rhinebeck in 2022. It's been 2 years. It's been 2 years since I've had this yarn. And I bought this yarn specifically to make this pattern. So I'm very happy that it's getting used. So everything is very crumpled at the moment. This is the back. It's on its cable still. And if you have an interchangeable set, you can put these on like knit extension cords. You can put them on waist yarn if you want. But if you have enough cables, which I do because I really only ever have one major knitting project going on at a time, you can take a light bulb stitch marker and put it through the hole. You see this? So it's keeping this together so that none of these stitches fall off. And then when it comes time to join under the arms, I could just attach knitting needles to this and keep going. I don't have to put any stitches back on the needles. So where I was last time was where this little strawberry is. So I had this much to finish. That's probably an inch. So I did that in straight stockinette. Then I came around this way and picked up the right front stitches from the cast on edge, and I have been slowly working. So it doesn't look like much. Let's see. This is what I've done so far, just this part. But these are all short rows, like garter ridge short rows. So this is where I picked up, and you can see that this side is longer than this side. So you do a bunch of short rows in these garter panels. And I'm still working on the garter ridges that go on the shoulders. I think I have 5, do I have 5 rows? I have 4 rows left, so 2 more ridges, and then I'm going to need to work in stockinette for a while so that it will match the back. Then once that is done, I put those stitches on hold, and I'm going to come over to the other side and pick up the left side. So this is the V-neck boxy, so as you can see, it's a little bit hard to see when I'm holding it like this, but okay. It's not exactly straight. You can see that this is starting to increase like this because it starts out here and it goes like this. So I will be increasing, I believe, every 4th row until I get below the underarm join. So it has progressed. I have enjoyed every time I've been working on this. I did make a mistake and I'm really not sure what I did. I either missed a row entirely, which I find hard to believe that I would do because I wrote out all the rows. When it's like repeat these many rows this many times, I write them all out and I mark them off as I'm doing that. Otherwise I get very distracted. But I think what I may have done is actually purled when I was supposed to knit or knit when I was supposed to purl. Because if you look really closely, which no one will be this close, so it doesn't matter. So I'm not ripping it out to fix it, especially not because it was in the middle of the short rows. That's probably why I got confused. But you can see that these ridges are like 2 rows of knit, 2 rows of purl, 2 rows knit, 2 rows, like they're double garter rows. Right here, and I don't even know how well you're gonna be able to see this, there is 2 rows of knit, a purl, 1 row, and then more purl. And I just don't know what I did there. I can't figure it out. I either missed a row or did something. But it was right at the very end. It's maybe 2 short rows from the end. And I guess I just got distracted. So we're going to call that a design element because no one will be able to tell, especially not in this yarn. I will know it is there, but I don't even know what I did, so I can't replicate it on the other side. So it's just going to be on that one side. There's going to be 1 extra row looking weird, but no one is going to get that close to my shoulder, I don't think. So it doesn't matter. But I saw it when I was like, let's see. It's up here. I was like down here before I noticed it. And I kept looking at it being like, something's off. What is that? Am I crazy? Is that right? Because it's in the middle of the short rows. So I kept like going over and being like, no, the short row is right. I think, I don't know. I am not sure I've picked up my wrap and turns correctly. Like you can see this one in particular has a big line that didn't get picked up exactly correctly. And then this one right here is kind of obvious. But again, who cares? Not me. Not me. So I've been really enjoying working on that. I'm going to keep trucking along. Hopefully by the next time I see you, I will have that right panel finished because it will just be stockinette in the next 4 rows and I can just knit and purl back and forth. I don't have to be like counting where I am. But you know, you never know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. This is living in a bag that my friend Clarisabeth made me. It's a Halloween bag and I love it. I love this bag. And it has a pin on here that says crochet friends are the best friends, which is an enamel pin that my friend Claudia used to make. Speaking of Clarisabeth and Claudia, I have another bag. This was made by Clarisabeth and her mom, who is mine and Muse, Caroline. And I have 2 Crochet Luna pins on this. This is mine. I call it my friend's bag. It has a Crochet Luna enamel pin and a Crochet Yarn Lovin' Crochet Sisters, like little granny square charts on it. So this is my new crochet project that you saw last time. I had just barely started it. I did get a little bit obsessed with this. It is the Wonder Woman wrap. This is a free pattern by Carissa Browning. That's what it looks like. I started it. There's 2 sizes. There's a small one and a big one called the Wee and the Wondrous. So I am making the Wondrous size. And I realized I showed y'all the yarn last time and I then was like, oh my gosh, I picked blue yarn. The blue yarn that I have is a sport weight. So I really hope there's enough to finish. Otherwise I'm gonna have to do some finagling especially because I'm making the big size. So this is the blue yarn that I'm like the main body of the shawl will be in. This is a sport weight yarn. I would have sworn to you this was a fingering, but it is not. It even says it's a sport weight yarn. This is Camelot Dye Works in the colorway Sea Serpent. It says sport weight right on the tag. 100 grams, 328 yards. Definitely a sport weight. Can I read? No, I cannot. This was a gift from Rochelle during the Get Your Yarn Wishes granting campaign quite a while ago. And then this yarn that I'm using for the W's in the Wonder Woman wrap is Kate Celine in Lady Glitter Sparkles. I don't even know, other than it's wool and sparkle, and I assume nylon. It doesn't have any base information, doesn't have any yardage information on here. It's just 100 grams of fingering weight sparkly yarn. But look how much I have done. Ta-da! I think last time I had like barely, I was right here last time. All the way at the bottom. I had done 2 rows the last time you saw this, and that's my Progress Keeper. That's like a blue Converse sneaker. I only picked that one because it matches. This hedgehog was moving around based on what I did from day to day, except that I haven't moved it in a while. But yeah, I have completed the first bottom part. Then I completed, so you work this like modularly in sections. So you do this bottom part first, then I did this triangle. Now I have added the second color, and that's what is still attached for the first W. And it's just so interesting. I think that I would have more done on this, except that I have to count. And counting is the only thing that has kept me sane in this. So you do, when I am done with this W, there will be a tiny, oh no, then there's going to be a little piece of blue over here and a little piece of blue over here. Then, here, I'll show you. I'm on this part right here. The next thing you do is this little blue stripe and this over here. So this is going to be that rainbow color on both sides. Then you do more blue. Then you do another rainbow and then finish with the blue. So it is color pooling a little bit, which is not my favorite, but I'm not mad at it. I normally hate color pooling of any kind. It's just not my aesthetic at all. But I don't know, seems cheerful. And of course the rows are getting bigger and bigger, so it'll probably be fine. I really enjoyed working on this, but I literally have to count, like I'll do this, count it, do an increase, do this, count it, do a decrease, do this. Like I have to count every section or I get way off. But I am very much enjoying working on that. Hopefully I have enough blue yarn. Y'all keep your fingers crossed for me. I think if I have, as long as I have enough blue yarn to do these middle parts in this, if I run out of blue up here, that's okay. I could do it in this rainbowy color, but we'll see. It is getting a lot of stitches. So in this bottom W, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more rows to do. And then I move on. I am using a 5mm hook. I don't know if that's what's called for, but I assume it is. And it's just living in there. It's my Clover or More. So that one has been quite a bit of progress. The last project I have put a little bit of work into is my Tunisian crochet shawl. And it is the Westmont shawl by Tony Lipsy. And I am making a color block version. If I can find a photo. This is a paid for pattern. There it is. That's what it looks like. Tony Lipsy is TL Yarn Crafts. I'm making this version. It's such a fun pattern. My only complaint, which is still my main complaint, is there's no stitch counts in this pattern. And I definitely missed stitch at one point, and then I fudged it, and I just don't know if it's even correct. I assume it's correct because my mesh rows worked out when I joined the next section, but like there are no stitch counts. So not anywhere. There's a stitch count when you do the first 4 rows have stitch counts, and not a single other row in the entire pattern has a stitch count. So like it would not be nice, not just to have stitch counts for every row, like I don't necessarily need that, but like at the end of every section, give me how many stitches I need to have, because I could have counted and known that I was off or like fudged it so I could fix it, but I couldn't. I was just guessing and hoping that it was going to work. So it has grown a tiny bit. This is where I was last time. So I finished this purple section. I think I had 4 more rows of the purple, and I have started the next mesh section when I'm 2 rows in. I actually did want to put in some work on this, but my elbow has been bothering me, so it didn't really work. So it really hasn't grown much, but it is still gorgeous. I'm still very, very happy with it. I have joined my 3rd color for the mesh rows, and the 4th color will be this. This is an Attic Spin Dye yarn. This yarn, I don't remember. Oh, yes, I do. This is Life in the Long Grass Studio yarn. I got this in 2018 when we went, my husband and I went to the UK and we went to Ireland. I bought this yarn when we were there, and then I designed a Tunisian project in it, which is why it had to go into this count. So the main yarn is Maelstrom Fiber Arts in colorway Velvet Boudoir. And yeah, it's gorgeous. It's so plump and so squishy and so beautiful, and it's going to be very big because this is how big it is with only 2.5 stripes, and just like, it's so stretchy. And these mesh panels are gonna really stretch. Like, they're like this right now, they're gonna be like that by the time it's blocked. So we still have a mesh panel, another purple panel, a mesh panel, and a final purple panel to end with a border. So it should be plenty big enough. Theoretically, if it's not, I could just keep going, but I don't think that I'll want to at that point. I wish I could tell you how many stitches are on the needle right now, but I can't because there's no stitch counts in this pattern. Drives me crazy. Put stitch counts in your patterns, people. Okay. That is all the yarning that I have done. I'm out of bone broth, so let me take some water. What has been going on? So many things. So many things. Where to begin? So Nova started school. Monday was her first day of school, and she didn't cry or anything. She was so excited to go. She had a great day. Tuesday morning she did cry a little bit, but she recovered and she was okay. And then yesterday and today she just walked right in. Bye, see ya. She is having a great time. She loves her teacher. She's doing so many fun activities. It is so weird to be in this house without her. Like, she's just a force of nature. Like, she is so loud and so just doing everything all the time at top volume. And it's been so calm this week, which is just very strange. Like, the baby's been sleeping fairly well, and then we have a few hours, and I've been going to meetings and stuff, and he's had to come, but then we go pick her up, and then it's chaos until dinner time. The only thing that is already a problem, and is going to continue to be a problem, I'm sure, is they take naps in pre-K. And Nova has not napped in almost a year. I mean, probably longer than that. She won't nap. And so typically she goes to bed between 6:30 and 7:30 every single night. And she sleeps a solid 12 hours. Like, just out, sleep straight through. She has not napped. And when I finally stopped trying to make her take a nap, our house got much more peaceful. So it's fine. They take naps in pre-K. I can't decide. Every day the teacher, it's like slept, rested quietly, no nap. And every day so far the teacher has circled rested quietly, but she must have gotten a little bit of sleep because every day this week she has been awake until 9:30 p.m. First of all, that's way too late for me and for her. She was on Monday night. Of course, that was the first day of school, so she was beyond hyped. She was literally doing gymnastics in her bed. Like, for 15 minutes, I was watching her on the camera. She was sitting there being like just crazy. At one point, she was upside down with her feet on the top of the bed and her head off the bed. She was doing like rolling like a roly-poly. She was what are you doing? And so she's been pretty cranky in the morning because she's not getting enough sleep. Because even if she sleeps, quote unquote, for 40 minutes or an hour at school, she is still missing 2 hours of sleep from her normal sleep schedule. So I'm going to let it ride this week. We'll see how it goes. And if it continues to be an issue, I think I don't know if they're going to listen to me because they really want the kids to take a nap. But I'm going to be like, can you please give her some coloring books or some books to read and look at? Like, please. It's ruining my life. So I hope it's fine. That's the only problem we've foreseen so far. Apparently there's 9 kids in her class plus her, so 10 total. She has 2 teachers. There's one kid named Dean who she says is a bad boy because he pushed and tried to bite someone, and he got in trouble and had to go to the timeout chair, which is just very cute to listen to her. She's learned, like, I think it's going to be so good for her and so good for me and so good in general. So that's happened. It's a huge, major life change. I am 99% done pumping, which is also a huge life change. I gave away my pump. The wearable I still have just in case, because my right side basically gave up producing milk weeks ago. And then, so I hadn't pumped it in like over a week. And then all of a sudden it decided to make a bunch of milk and be very painful. So I had to pump it a little bit. And then my left side did the same thing. So I'm like a little leery of smashing that one in the driveway until I know for sure we're done. The baby is not drinking any of my milk. I had what was in this freezer, which was about 45 to 50 ounces, to a mom who was in the hospital having a surgical procedure, so she didn't have to worry. And then what was in the deep freezer, which had dairy and soy in it, I gave to another mom who just got diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. And so she, in order to take the medication, she has to stop nursing. But she's not ready to only give her baby like formula. So I gave her all of those ounces and I counted them up. I thought maybe there was like 150, 200 ounces in there. No, 465 ounces of milk in the deep freezer that I pumped for Noah that he can't drink because it will make him sick. 465, y'all. That is an insane number. Several of y'all commented on the last video being like, you could donate it to a NICU. And yes, I am aware of that. And I have done that before. I donated over 100 something ounces of milk when I had Nova. And I donated it that way. But it's actually a very complicated and hard process. So you can't just call up a hospital and be like, I have milk. Can I donate it? They won't take milk from you. You have to go through, at least in Florida, you have to go through like a separate nonprofit that collects milk like that. So there's one around called Mother's Milk Bank. And so what you have to do is you have to have blood work from your OB in the last year. And you also then have to go get blood work for them so that they can compare. You have to fill out this huge questionnaire. And then you have, like, there's so many steps. And I know this because I did it already with Nova. It's like an insane process. And then finally, once you're approved, which can take like, depending on how long it takes your OB to respond with the medical records that they want, and how long it takes you to get blood work done again, and then get those records and get those sent to them. It could take like a month or two before you get approved to donate your milk. And then you have to physically take it to one of their drop-off points. Last time I tried to physically take the milk to one of their drop-off points, but the freezer was broken, so they wouldn't take it. So I drove a half an hour for nothing. And after I called them, they agreed to send me a cooler to ship it in. And I still had to go get like to a special shipping place that has dry ice and like purchase. It was the whole thing. So I didn't really want to mess with that, because I'm just ready for this to be done. So I would have, if there was no other option, but I know that there's like local moms who could use milk, because one of my friends had to wean her kid pretty unexpectedly, and he had a really bad reaction to formula, and she had gotten some milk from someone. So I knew. So I posted in my mom's group and I was like, does anyone know anyone or need this personally? And that's how I was able to give it away. So it's going to 2 other babies. In fact, the baby whose mom needs to take medication and has to stop weaning, she texted me and was like, I don't know if just your milk tastes better than mine, but like she's been fighting drinking mine out of a bottle and she asks for yours. Like she knows and she likes it. And I'm like, all right, as long as it's not getting wasted. I just needed it out of the house. I needed it out of my life. I mean, 465 ounces is a lot and it's a big weight that's just been hanging out in here. And so for it to be out of this house, like I feel like I can breathe a little bit, and knowing that it's not going to waste and it's going to help another kid helps me as well. So that is done. Eventually I will smash the wearable pump. I'll probably wait one more week just to make sure everything is fine because I don't want to be in pain. I have not had too much pain the last couple of days. So maybe everything is settling down. I hope it's settling down because it was rough. Weaning him, like when he stopped nursing, was like a nightmare, of course, especially on my hormones. But stopping pumping also did a number on my hormones. And I swear I was phenomenally anxious for like 10 straight days. Like felt like I couldn't breathe, like something was sitting on my chest. And I wasn't particularly worried about anything. It was like purely a physical hormonal response to stopping pumping. There were so many things. I tried literally anything I could think of to make it go away and it just would not. And I just had to like live like that for like a week and a half. Basically the week and a half since I talked to you last time. Like especially in the morning, I would be like so anxious. I felt queasy and I felt like I couldn't breathe even though I was breathing just fine, and it was just awful. But that seems to have calmed down a little bit. Thankfully, it's still like yesterday I had a little bit of that for a few hours, but it wasn't all day. So that was helpful. But my elbow has been a problem. So I think I mentioned this on the podcast a month ago, maybe longer. I whacked my elbow on the dryer. So dumb. And I whacked it so hard. Like after I did that, I sat on the floor and like cried for at least 5 minutes. It hurt that bad. I did not think that I broke it so I iced it. I took ibuprofen. I didn't think I broke it because I had full range of motion. Like I could do, all of it. I could do all the things. And I just kind of iced it and took it easy, and it got a little bit better, but it has not got significantly better. So I finally went to the primary care doctor yesterday and I was like, I've been icing it. I've been taking ibuprofen, but it doesn't seem to be getting significantly better. And I really particularly have problems if my arm is straight down and I'm trying to pick something up. It sends shooting pain right here. Or if I'm doing this motion and like opening a doorknob hurts really bad. And I don't have my grip strength back. Like I keep dropping things. And so he was like, yeah, you have to go see an orthopedic doctor. I'm like, I know. I know what the process is. That's why I haven't done it, because what a pain. So he gave me a referral. So then I called around. I found an orthopedic doctor and they're like, oh, we can see you today if you want to come at like 3:50. And I was like, all right. So I had both kids with me. I packed them in the car and got them some Culvers. Thank God I got them food before we went there because we were there for, almost 2.5 hours because the doctor was running an hour behind. And part of, they didn't tell me that up front. Like, if they had told me he's running an hour behind when I checked in, I would have been like, then please reschedule the appointment. I have a 3-year-old and a baby. Like, I can't deal with this. By the time they told me he was running an hour behind, we had already been there for an hour. And I was like, well, I'm not going to leave now. Like, what a waste of my life. So I stayed. And then, of course, by the time, you get back there and it takes another 45 minutes, the whole thing. The kids were surprisingly good, given how long we were there. But they did an x-ray and they're like, you didn't break it. I'm like, I know I didn't break it. Like, you're not telling me anything I don't know. So I finally saw the doctor and the doctor said that I have tennis elbow. And I was like, well, I know I have tennis elbow. I've had that since college. Like, I gave myself tennis elbow in college by being a massive nerd. So in college, I took no less Like a full-time load in college is 12 credit hours. I consistently took 18, and I believe there was at least 2 semesters where I took 21 credit hours. And when I left my dorm room, was gone for the day, pretty much. Like I was just going from class to class to class. So I had all of my books and everything, my laptop, in my backpack. So it was very heavy. And in theology, I was a theology major. You read a lot. So I had a lot of books. And the backpack was so heavy, and I would just fling it over my shoulder like this. And I gave myself tennis elbow, flinging my backpack over my shoulder. I've never played tennis ever in my life. So dumb. So I have dealt with tennis elbow for 15 years now because I am a nerd and packed my backpack too heavy when I was in college. But it really has not been bothering me too much lately. If I do a ton of typing, it will bother me. Certain crochet, if I don't support my elbow the right way, it will bother me. But it's been pretty good. But apparently, when I whacked my elbow in the dryer, where I whacked it is the exact spot right here where all of the tendons, ligaments, etc. connect on your elbow. And so on the x-ray, there's your bone, which is white, and then there's your soft tissue around your bone, which is supposed to be a gray color, and it was all gray, except for around this part of my elbow, there was a big ball of black, which is inflammation. And he's like, yeah, no wonder you can't hold things or like pick things up without pain. It's super, super inflamed. So he gave me a cortisone shot in my elbow. And I have never had one of those before. It hurt real bad. I was not expecting it to hurt as bad as it did. It also made it much more painful. And he was like, yeah, it'll take several days to a week to really take effect. So take it really easy on your elbow this week. And then he gave me exercises. Basically, I have to do like physical therapy by myself on my stupid elbow. But he did not inform me that it was going to hurt worse after the cortisone shot. It hurt so bad last night. It probably woke me up 3 times. Like I would roll over and something would touch my elbow and it would wake me up because it hurt so bad. I have taken some ibuprofen, so it's not as bad right now, but yeah, my elbow is not happy. So hopefully the cortisone works. I also think that my body does not like a cortisone shot because this morning my whole body was itchy. Like skin was so itchy. It has calmed down since then. It was probably like a couple hours, but I did not know that was a reaction that was possible either. I wasn't having like an allergic reaction. Like I wasn't feeling short of breath. There wasn't any like rash or anything like that. It's just very itchy. So yeah, fun times. Hopefully it will work and decrease the inflammation. And then I'll do my exercises and get my elbow back into shape and go back in 6 weeks to see him. What a pain. What a pain in the butt. So yeah, overall, I'm feeling a little better. I have not cried every day since the last time I talked to you. Because it does feel like a weight has been lifted to have the pumping done. Like I feel like I can breathe again. The baby's doing okay. We're trying to wean him off the Pepsid now, which was going okay, but now it's not. So I don't know. Weaning off Pepsid is really hard. So I have to get a refill for him today. He did okay. He gets it in the morning and at night. We dropped his morning dose and he was doing okay. I halved his nighttime dose 2 nights ago, and yesterday he was miserable. So I'm going to get a refill, go back up to the full nighttime just dose for a little bit, and then slowly try again. Because I don't really want him to be in pain. But we have to try to wean him off before his 12-month appointment. He's going to be 1 in less than a year. Oh, in less than a year. In less than a month. Yes, he will be 1 in less than a year. I can't believe he's been here almost a whole year. He is walking. And it's very, very hard because he won't do it if I have the camera out. But he's been walking all over. The day he turned 11 months old, he just took off and walked across the room. He's a very determined little boy who I love so much. So yeah, I feel like that's all the news. This I am saying for the sake of honesty, because several podcast episodes ago, I recommended the deodorant brand Mando slash Lume, and it's like a more natural deodorant. And I was like, I have really sensitive skin, but it hasn't bothered me so far. And I had been using it for several weeks at that point. I continued using it for several weeks, and then it gave me a rash. And I am so mad about that. Not at the deodorant brand necessarily. Like, I have really sensitive skin and everything bothers me, so it's not surprising, right, that it would give me a rash. But I used it for like 6 weeks before it gave me a rash. That is not fair. It should have given me a rash immediately if it was going to be a problem. And I wasn't even sure if it was that specifically because I had used a different soap at that time. And so I stopped using it and I changed my soap back, and I was like, all right, we'll wait till it like clears up. And then I tried it on Sunday a couple of days ago, and I put it on in the morning. It was totally fine. By the time I got home from church, which was maybe 6 hours later, it was so bad. Like, I took a Benadryl. That's how bad it was. Benadryl knocks you out. Like, I washed it really well. I had to put hydrocortisone cream on it, like the whole 9 yards. So I will not be using that. And I'm not mad at the brand. I'm actually just mad at my body for not being able to handle it, because it is the only deodorant I have ever found in the world that truly works. And so I had to switch back to my good old aluminum-filled degree women's blah, 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 which does not work as well, especially not in 90 billion degree Florida weather. It also doesn't smell as good, and it's full of aluminum, but it doesn't give me a rash. So I can't use this. So mad. So I don't know if you have any kind of natural deodorant recommendations. I will say, if it has baking soda in it, I cannot use it. That will immediately bother me. And if it has beeswax in it, I also cannot use it. I cannot put beeswax near my underarms or my lips. Like, my lips will break out immediately if beeswax touches them, which is just like, this is not the first time this has happened with natural ingredients and my body doesn't have a reaction to like man-made chemicals, which I find fascinating and highly irritating. So I feel it is only fair that I come and give you an update on that product, because I was raving about it, and I still truly I would rave about it. I am raving about it. I am actually very mad that I can't use it, because my husband's been using it for 2-3 months now, and he is just fine, and he smells delightful, and he's outside all the time. Why? Why, buddy? Why must you do this to me? What a pain. So that's all the news, I suppose. It is only fair that I give you an update on the sad state of deodorant. So yeah, if something ever gives you a rash in your underarms, clean it really well, hydrocortisone cream, take a Benadryl. It will work. It'll work better. So I think that's all. I think I'm going to call it a day here. If you like this video, do give me a thumbs up. That just helps me know and YouTube know that I'm putting something worth watching out into the internet. And leave me a comment. What are you working on? What is the pattern you found scrolling on Ravelry? I hope that I can get that other pattern, the Whirligig hat, started before next time, because I'm kind of obsessed, but I'm going to have some brain power to sit down and figure out the beginning. That looks complicated to me. And then also, I'm going to have elbow power. I don't know, like, I tried to crochet last night and I definitely could not do it. Like, it hurt so bad. So I managed to do a little bit of knitting on that sock, but I couldn't do any crochet. So until my elbow calms down, I may just have to knit for a while. But we'll see. So I will see y'all in 2 weeks. And happy crafting. Leave me a comment. I love communicating with you. If you like this video, you can subscribe, and I generally post every 2 weeks on Saturday mornings, and sometimes there's little bonus videos in between. So be kind to yourself. I love you tons. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.